Anna.
I'm Ben.
Proud to say welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Neon Genesis Evangelion, episode 23. Joke's on you, we already watched it. We were in the middle of editing, and then we realized we had to re-record the intro. The previous intro was just us saying about what steps we were taking because we have 2 copyright strikes from Evangelion and what we were going to do going forward. But the circumstances of that changed, and at the moment we're going to have to host everything on Patreon in regards to Evangelion for the foreseeable future until we hear back from the people who give us copyright strikes. But this episode...
It was... Yep. I guess you'll see how it went. Enjoy!
Right. Enjoy! You good?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Am I gonna be scared? Am I gonna cry? Am I gonna have feelings that last forever where I can never forget the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asuka.
We just re-listening to it?
Shinji knows where it is.
鳴らない電話か。美里さん、今日もこもりっぱなしだ。学校にも行かず、うちにも帰らず。
Wow.
ずっとゲームばっかり。寝よっか。うん。
How often are they even talking if she's just playing games?
Distracting yourself until you can go to sleep.
Yeah.
ごめんね。私、邪魔かな。
She's probably worried about you.
勝てなかったんだ、エヴァーで。嫌い。大嫌い。みんな嫌いなの。でも一番嫌いなのは私。なんかもうどうでもよくなっちゃったわ。そう、いなくなったの、あの子。うん。時間ができたら一度帰るわ。母さんの墓前にももう3年も経ってないし。そう、あの子が死んだの。
Great.
Great. Impossible.
死と殲滅を優先させました。やむを得ない事象です。
やむを得ないか。言い訳にはもっと説得力を持たせたまえ。
冬月、審議中だぞ。わかった。
Another appearance?
使徒が現在接近中です。続きはまた後ほど。
その時君の席が残っていたらな。
いかにゼーレを裏切る気か。
あと15分でそっちに着くわ。0号機を32番から地上に射出。2号機はバックアップに回して。そう。初号機は碇司令の指示に。私の権限じゃ凍結解除はできないわよ。じゃあ。
Shinji's gonna be sitting in there though.
使徒を肉眼で確認。
Is it just like a ring? Like a halo?
Halo?
0号機発進。地上直接迎撃位置へ。
いや、発進だ。司令。構わん。鳥ぐらいには役に。
She can at least serve as a decoy?
Shamelessly. Sounds a bit like Shinji. We've heard similar things be said. That's an angel?
目標の AT フィールドは依然健在。パターン青からオレンジへ周期的に変化しています。
どういうこと？バギは回答不能を提示しています。
Cannot find a solution.
データ不足ですね。
ただあの形が固定形態でないことは確かだ。先に手は出せないか。レイ、しばらく様子を見るわよ。いえ、来るわ。
What the fuck?
It's like a snake?
ダメです。やりません。
Oh! It's infecting
it's
it.
like a parasite.
使徒が積極的に一時的接触を試みている。0号機と。
Physical contact, psychological contact last episode.
We need Unit 0. Oh, Ray!
0号機の生体部品が侵されていきます。エヴァ2号機発進。目標、さらに侵食。危険。すでに 5% 以上が生体融合されている。 出撃よ。アスカ、どうしたの？2号機はダメです。シンクロ率が2桁を切ってます。
Single digits.
動かないのよ。
Are we gonna have to lift the suspension on Shinji?
私以外の誰かを感じる。あなた誰？私と一つにならない？いいえ、私は私。あなたじゃないわ。そう。でもダメ。もう遅いわ。私の心をあなたにも分けてあげる。この気持ち、あなたにも分けてあげる。痛いでしょ。ほら、心が痛いでしょ。寂しい。そう、寂しいのね。寂しい。わからないわ。私たちはたくさんいるのに、一人でいるのが嫌なんでしょ。それを寂しい、悲しみに満ち満ちているあなた自身の心よ。
Tears.
泣いてるのは私。
初号機の凍結を現時刻をもって解除。
はい。
You didn't send him out for me. But this is Rei.
Oh.
Will that even do anything? It's making sounds. Is it like attached to Rei now?
What the fuck?
The idea of fusion. Yeah, of course she does.
フィールド限界。これ以上はコアが維持できます。ダメ。私がいなくなったら AT フィールドが消えてしまう。シュドキ。コアが潰れます。臨界突破。現時刻をもって作戦を終了します。第一種警戒態勢へ移行。0号機はエントリープラグの射出は確認されていません。生存者の救出急いで。もしいたらの話ね。
Rei 3.
If Rei
Why
is
does that
somehow made from Yui,
We could keep doing it.
Oh my god.
ついに第16の使徒までを倒し、
これでゼーレの視界文書に記述されている使徒はあと一つ。
さよ、ロンギヌスの槍に続きエヴァ0号機の損失。
怒りの解任には十分すぎる理由だな。新たな人柱が必要ですな。怒りに対する。
そして事実を知る者が必要だ。
I don't like that panning to her.
美里さん、出ないんだ。涙。悲しいと思ってるのに出ないんだよ。
シンジ君、今の私にできるのはこのくらいしかないわ。
やめてよ。やめてよ、美里さん。
ごめんなさい。
This is all I can do for you right now.
寂しいはずなのに。ペンペン、おいで。そっか、誰でもいいんだ。寂しかったのは私の方ね。
レイカ、彼女は俺の絶望の産物であり、未だお前の希望のよりしろ。
My despair.
やはり忘れる方が無理というものか。
What's going to happen? What?
しもし何ですってシンジ君
What?
ハイナミ
ありがとう助けてくれて。
何が
何がってゼロ号機を捨ててまで助けてくれたんじゃないか綾波が。
あなたを助けたの。
うん覚えてないの。
いえ知らないの。
I just don't know.
私は
The
3人目
third
だと思う
one.
から
I'm the third one.
That recontextualizes the bandages we've seen earlier, does it not?
Mm-hmm. Is there a difference to her now being the third one?
これが涙。初めて見たはずなのに初めてじゃないような気がする。私泣いてるの。
そうだ。ファーストチルドレンは現状維持だ。新たな拘束の必要はない。ゼーレの老人たちには別のものを差し出してやる。心配ない。
我々も穏便にことは進めたい。
怒りがそばに置きたがるのもわかる。
だが身を我々に差し出したのは他でもない碇君だよ。
ゼロ号機パイロットの尋問を拒否。代理人として君をよこしたのだよ、赤木博士。
レイの代わり私が。
君が欲しがっていた真実の一部だ。確実なのはこのカプセルだけだ。こいつは俺の全てだ。
Yes.
好きにしてくれ。
Isn't the pill?
俺たちの最初の思い出。
Oh man.
鳴らない電話を気にしてイラつくのはもうやめるわ。
I won't let it. Oh my god.
あなたの心受け取ったもの。
Similarities between Ritsuko and her mother and Rei.
冬月とは違う。彼女は返した方が得策だ。
さよう、我々人類の未来のため。
第三神道教師の消滅は計画を進める良き材料になる。完成を急がせろ。約束の時はその日となる。
This is
はいもしもし。今なら外に出られるわよ。律子さん。
無駄よ。私のパスがないとね。そうカジ君の仕業ね。いいわ。ただしこの子も一緒にね。いいわ。
What the fuck is this episode? I don't know if I want to see
I
this.
don't.
綾波レイの部屋よ。彼女の生まれ育ったところ。レイの深層心理を構成する光と水はここのイメージが強く残っている。
エヴァ。
最初のね、10年前に破棄されたわ。
エヴァの墓場。
ただのゴミ捨て場よ。あなたのお母さんが消えたところでもあるわ。リツコ。
It's like she has nothing left to lose.
これがダミープラグの元だというの。真実を見せてあげるわ。まさかエヴァのダミープラグはダミーシステムのコアとなるその生産工場よ。これがここにあるのはダミー。そして例のためのただのパーツに過ぎないわ。人は神様を拾ったので喜んで手に入れようとした。せっかく拾った神様も消えてしまったわ。でも今度は神様を自分たちで復活させようとしたの。それがアダム。そしてアダムから神様に似せて人間を作った。それがエヴァ。魂の入った入れ物はレイ。一人だけなの。あの子にしか魂は生まれなかったの。ガフの部屋は空っぽになってたのよ。だから壊すの。憎いから。あんた何やってんのか分かってんの？人じゃないの。人の形をしたものなの。
Thing
で
shaped
もそんな
like
ものにすら
people.
私は負けた。勝てなかったのよ。あの人のことを考えるだけでどんな
Think about her mom with Rei.
私の体なんてどうでもいいのよ。でもあの人分かっていたの。バカなのよ。私は親子揃って大バカ
Like
者だ。
mother, like daughter.
We're both big fools.
私を殺したいのなら そうして、それこそバカよ、あなたは。エヴァーに取りつかれた人の悲劇。私も同じか。
That felt like that was too abrupt.
The idea of the conversation between vessel and there being vessels without a soul and souls in the vessel, and then the idea of the people who are being possessed by the Evangelions is haunting. I don't like seeing this now. I don't like the outro now. Look at it. She's spinning, and then we just saw Ritsuko tear them all apart.
Yeah. On what you were saying about the possession, it then also go to the angel and how it interacted with the Eva in some sort of fusion and like almost taking over and becoming one with the Eva. Everything's a circle. That moon, that's what's happening right now.
Okay, that was Neon Genesis Evangelion, episode 23. Fuck. Firstly, fuck.
Firstly, fuck. Secondly, fuck.
There isn't a easy way to sort through the feelings that I'm having right now.
Isn't that a pleasure? Isn't that a journey? Isn't that great? There's not an easy way to sort through your feelings right now?
Yes, you're right.
What a feeling to feel.
In terms of wanting to be, coherent or seen as coherent or understood, it's a little bit unfortunate that I don't know what the fuck is happening, but at the same time I'm just trying to think, like, every character that has been given to me in this series, even if I'm like, that's a good character and we're learning about them and they have some stuff to them, it feels like I am giving that character less significance than they even deserve. Like, I think that there's so many different angles that I want to approach and so many different people that I want to approach within this discussion, but Ritsuko this episode blew me the fuck away. And I think Misato's ending line of the tragedy of the people possessed by the Evas is the perfect descriptor of what the fuck is happening within the world, this episode, and everything in between.
Misato felt pretty sturdy for me in this episode, like a character who's able to be somewhat aware of her sorrow, how it might affect other people, what she might be, which is might be lonely, what she might need, but also what she might need to do going forward. Yes, maybe it's because we actually see a decent bit of her in this episode and we see her get to a place that feels like someone I can have confidence in terms of going into the next episode. Like, she's standing as confident and tall as I would say is maybe possible for her at the moment.
I brought it at the beginning of the episode, and it's Misato's head down on her desk, because, like, that's how she starts. She starts in listening to the message that we've already heard, and through uncovering and hearing about Kaji and what his actual intention was with the information, that was reaffirming her into the position that you're describing, that she's able to stand for at the end of the episode. The one to have the reaction that she does to Ritsuko being like, just fucking kill me.
It's the only character I feel like is standing.
You can lean on a little bit.
Standing into the next episode. Like, she's standing. Shinji, I don't know what he's doing, but he's like in a beanbag chair somewhere. Like, he's obviously standing next to her here. But they're definitely different. And then Ritsuko's definitely, literally not even standing at the end of this episode. Rei, I guess, is standing. But I will say, maybe not. Because there's some crying, some tears.
The crunching of the glasses before she realizes that she's crying for the first time.
Even saying to someone out loud, like, is that protocol to be telling Shinji, I guess I'm the third one?
Yeah.
Even though I don't think he latches on to what it is that she's saying.
Maybe until the end of the episode, yeah.
Maybe until the end of the episode, obviously. I'm sure he hears what Rei's saying and is like, I don't know what that means. And then he goes into the end of the episode and he's like, now I know what that means.
It's the antithesis and the foundational focus that I have had in terms of trying to observe what is Neon Genesis Evangelion, and the amount of scale and vast universe building and trying and wanting to talk about the lines we get towards the end from Ritsuko, talking about how we discovered God and we wanted to make God our own, which I'm sure we're going to get into, and I probably did a bad job paraphrasing, versus the actual character development and the character writing on such intentional, direct scale. Like, the idea of Ritsuko as a character, I imagine you were feeling halfway through the episode, going into Rei's death, seeing the plug of Rei, and then being able to say that this is going to be classified. We see like a hand that's being reached out, and that death of what is Rei. And I'm like, okay, we're going down this road. We see the third Rei approach and appear. And then within the meeting of Seal, I'm like, oh, fuck. The Ritsuko Akagi, like, similarities are really fucking twisted and fucked up. But now, when we're getting to the end of the episode, I'm seeing a little bit, like, more twisted and more of that. It feels like, this isn't something that Ritsuko... Like, I didn't expect the self-aware nature of Ritsuko to be, like... to compare herself to her mother.
Mom, to literally say it out loud for us, what we are seeing, what we're noticing as viewers.
Yeah.
To have the character acknowledge that she's basically walking down the same path of looking toward Gendo, walking beside Gendo, wanting to walk beside him, and being kind of cast aside as Rei is more important, and therefore then wanting to erase Rei from existence in some capacity. What she's doing here by getting rid of, like, yes, they're like mannequins, they're dummies, there's no soul in them.
The dummy plug, yeah.
But they are there to replace what might be broken in the future, so Rei 4 can exist, Rei 5 can exist. We're basically killing Rei, or at least killing the chance of Rei being brought back by Gendo to some capacity. I don't understand exactly if they have the capabilities to recreate more once they see what Ritsuko has done. I was not expecting a tank, an aquarium of Rei, and so many. I was kind of wondering, oh, how do we create another third Rei so quickly?
We have an aquarium near us that we went to, I think, a month ago, and in the shark exhibit, you keep going down and down and down these like slanted stairs until you're encapsulated by just a 360-degree atmosphere and environment of sharks circling you. And that's what just happened with Rei. That's just what happened, and it was truly terrifying.
Yeah, I didn't like how they were all smiling either.
No.
I really didn't like the smiling. I mean, I want to see the actual Rei smile, but now that I've said I want to see the actual Rei smile, I feel very sad and conflicted on the inside, because now I know that's not the original Rei. And I don't want to get into what is the creation of Rei. She's man-made, but I would still want that. I would still want Rei to have love and not be lonely and be able to smile and be happy. I don't want her to continuously get replaced or be seen as sacrificial or expendable because of the fact that we have more and we could just reborn her and recreate her.
Well, it depends on, like, what Rei you're talking about. And, like, I guess it's all Rei, but at the same time, there are different iterations of Rei. We saw Rei this episode merging with an angel that it gave off the impression of, like, trying to understand Rei, like you were letting on, but then there being, like, an honest discussion between the two of, like, what the feeling is, the feeling of loneliness, and that leading to that iteration, the second Rei, crying. Like, and for the first time, it seemed like, and then reacting to, like, what the fuck is this?
To that kind of scene that you're opening up, which felt to me like the Eva Rei, the Rei that's within the Eva to maybe create the Eva, and then the Rei that's the pilot that is the second Rei. The second Rei, what I took from that is that she's creating a difference between the two. She's kind of, it almost feels to me, and this could be totally off, like someone trying to take autonomy and take control. Like, I am my own person. We are not the same Rei. Like, you might be Rei and I might be Rei, but you are not me. Like, I get to exist as my own Rei, and this own Rei cares for Shinji and cries and has tears in her eyes in that scene in the pilot, sacrifices herself for Shinji, realizes that as the kind of parasitic angel that has attached to her own heart is latching out at Shinji, that it's basically her heart and her feelings towards Shinji that are going to be hurting him.
God damn it. And like, it does result in her once again, like she prioritizes Shinji's safety and does save him at the cost of her own life. Like, fact. Next, she's back again in a different form, yeah, but not the same.
No.
It's lingering. It's there. What is the crunch of the glasses? Like, what is that, like...
This isn't the Rei that has the elevator conversation about how she could be a good mom with Shinji.
It's just like, there's something there, and that something that's there is super unsettling, and I'm like, what is it? What's the feeling that's, like... What's the animosity towards Gendo going to result or culminate
It's supposed to be unsettling. Even if you go to the basic facts of what is happening here in terms of the plot or just the origin of Eva/Rei and her existence, it's supposed to feel unsettling. Because of the idea of playing with God and the powers that God holds, or the kind of dominion that God holds, and what humans then try to do, replicating similar things to God, like man-made creations, creating humans.
Can
themselves.
we read the line that we're given at that part of the episode to try to just, I guess, digest it together when we're not watching it for the first time? Man found God, and in their joy tried to make him theirs. That's why there was divine retribution. That was 15 years ago. The God they found had also disappeared by then.
They tried to make him theirs, the God they found 15 years ago.
But then they tried to resurrect God on their own. The result was Adam. And imitating God, they created people from Adam. The result, those people, were the Evas. People, they're human? Yeah, they're human. Obviously, we've always been told of the genetic makeup. The Evas do not intrinsically have souls, but they have human souls embedded in them. They were all salvaged. The only vessel that contained the soul was Rei.
Salvage sounds like you're going down to the depths to a shipwreck and bringing up something from the sea.
These things here that look like Rei have no souls. They're just vessels. That's how I'm going to destroy them.
The arrogance that comes with the line of finding God and wanting to make him theirs. In their joy, tried to make him theirs.
I love that the him is capitalized. That's why there was divine retribution. Wow. I mean, I can't think of a better word choice or a different way to try to encapsulate the idea and the approach of man in that trying to resurrect God, then divine retribution, and in their joy. I think that that's fucking profound and uncomfortably true.
Yeah.
Wow. I just dropped my pencil.
It's that kind of day. It's that kind of episode. It's that kind of show. I shouldn't even say it's that kind of episode, because I feel like that's just what this show has done. I think that it's a cool experience to watch a spectrum of shows where it feels like, wow, whoa, I can talk about this a bunch afterward, and then shows that make you just kind of want to sit by yourself, sitting in a shower with the water running on top of your head.
There was a point in time in watching Evangelion that I had said something along the lines of there being a kaiju, like the movie of that girl who's about to get married, and then she grows really, really tall, and then she has an interaction with that like slime goo guy who might be voiced by Seth Rogen, but I'm not really sure. It's been a really long time since I watched it. Is that what happened?
You know, if I had seen that movie, I think I would be able to answer your question.
Because it wasn't like it wasn't technically a giant Rei, but like it was.
Oh, are you talking about what that plume after the explosion, or as the Eva is kind of coming back up as it's reaching what seems to be toward Gendo and toward the imagery of Gendo within the mind, that we then morph into what looks like a Rei-shaped body before the explosion?
Yeah, this.
It did make me think of Shinji's Eva kind of regrowing what looked to be a human limb.
It's so, like, it's hard to comprehend that, like, it's hard and easy to comprehend that can happen.
Think about the graveyard. Those look like a bunch of giant human bones in the graveyard. In the Eva graveyard was just a bunch of giant human bones.
the last place that Yui was seen. It's hard to kind of coordinate what I'm wanting to talk about or what I'm talking about right now. Do you have anywhere to go? I
definitely have places I want to go.
We're talking Ray, and we're talking the situation there. It's at a certain point I stopped writing notes this episode.
I don't think I could have continued writing notes, especially after we get the fact that the reveal that actually Ritsuko made sure Shinji was here for all of this reveal and information. What's the choice there? We call up Shinji and we say, I'm lifting the restrictions. The restrictions are, you gotta listen to me here. This is important. The restrictions are lifted. You can go outside. And then brings him with her to destroy all of the rays.
So that's what I was trying to talk about earlier when I was saying that, like, Ritsuko was a different character than I thought she was. And that's when things kind of clicked for me, it feels like. How much Ritsuko knows. Like, we've talked about, like, Misato being here, Gendo being up here, Fuyutsuki being with him, but then obviously Ritsuko being somewhere up there as well. But I guess I didn't think about that as much as I should have been. Like, I think with her knowledge and her position, she was very aware of what the situation was in regards to Seal and in regards to Gendo. And with that, had her own feelings and thoughts about the matter and was dealing with the inevitability of what the scrolls are saying in her own ways. And it resulted surely in what you're bringing up, and the idea of not only are we going to show Shinji the graveyard where his mother disappeared with the Evangelion bones, but also Rei's original bedroom. And then I'm tying it back to, like, no. It goes prior to that too, because we should talk about the idea that she made the choice of bringing Shinji here, but the why of it has been so, like, implanted far back. I am now feeling like Ritsuko was the person who helped Kaji be the spy that he was and get the information he did. Like, the idea that we have a phone call in the first, like, 6 minutes of the episode between Ritsuko saying that she hasn't visited her mother's grave in, I think, 3 years. And she's having that conversation with her grandmother, and she's talking about the cats. I think the cat is Kaji. And I think that the idea of when we see Kaji in a few episodes ago with the lady and the cats, I think that would be Ritsuko's grandmother. And the connection that we're making there lets me be like, oh, okay, so Ritsuko isn't just, like, the idea of her mother, but having the awareness to be able to see how similar the situation's in has influenced her actions even before her choosing to lift the restrictions off of Shinji, and it being shown in her life prior to this too, like the differences that she's making.
And then both the cats on her desk, one of them is Kaji, the, like, little figurines, one of them's Kaji and one of them's Misato.
Yeah.
I like where you're going. I like where you're going with this, because I like to believe that Ritsuko cares about both Kaji and Misato in the same way that I feel like the other characters have spoken to her like they care about her, spoken about her like they care about her. So I like to believe that there is some care here, that there's some wanting Misato to learn more, or being worried about her learning more for her own safety, wanting her to be here in this moment. I mean, we see these two women look at each other in such really interesting moments where it's like they're checking to see how the other person is reacting to things, or they're surprised by how the other person reacts. But what's more important to me about that is that they want to know, like, who's the first person you look to in a room when something happens that's either upsetting or surprising? It's the person probably that you want to see how they react and how they feel, or you want to look to them for comfort or reassurance. And I feel like we see Misato, at least in this episode, look to Ritsuko a few times, but I feel like we've also had some moments of them having conversations together with some slaps, some vulnerability, that maybe the figures are on Ritsuko's desk, the two cats, or Misato and Kaji. That's where I'm gonna end that off with. I think that there's more to see for this dynamic, or more to understand for this dynamic. But what we've gotten with Ritsuko in this episode is something that I could have never freaking imagined. Maybe I could have imagined her acknowledging similarity between her and her mother, or could have imagined her, after at least the moment of her interrogation with Seal, having resentment toward Rei and seeing that there are similarities with her mother. I could have stopped there in terms of expectation. I don't think I could have gone to the end of the episode in terms of expectation.
Am I making it up of this scene that I'm talking about with Kaji and the woman? Because it feels like I'm not, but I can't find it.
I don't think you're making it up.
So this is what, like, I'm referencing in my mind, just because, like, we see the cats here, and
an older
Kaji's
woman.
Obviously here. And, I don't know.
With getting information. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy to me to put a theory or an idea out there that Ritsuko, as Kaji
What else is the scene? You know, like, it's not nothing. No scene in the show is nothing.
No
so
scene
that's
is
where
nothing.
my mind tries to get.
And no feelings are simple. When we have that idea that, think about how Ritsuko might feel about Gendo. I think it could be incredibly complex. There could be feelings of admiration or love, similar to how her mother had those feelings of wanting to walk and be beside him. But there could also be some animosities of, my mom died. She was making your dreams and things that were your wishes come true. With the hope of standing beside you, and then you cast her aside.
Because of how much awareness we see Ritsuko have. And then obviously the thing that really pushed her was being thrown in front of Seal in the extremely vulnerable position that she was in, that really...
Which wasn't even the issue. The issue was when she learned that she was there as a surrogate, basically, of
for Rei. Yeah.
She was totally willing to be in this interrogation naked for Gendo, seemingly, or at least had some, like, confidence building herself up that she could do this and she could kind of stand tall during this interview and this interrogation, unwavering because of Gendo, until she learns that she's just a replacement so that Rei doesn't have to be interrogated.
Yep, and then it's the frightening realization of, even if you feel like all the circumstances and your approaches were all different than your mother, you've ended up in the same place.
And everything should be complicated. Everything should be conflicting. On Kaji's end, it's conflicting or complicated on maybe the more surface level of your job as a double agent could just be something that's conflicting. Like, you could have feelings of duty toward one direction, and then you could have people you like over here, say like Misato or Gendo, that you feel loyal to, and you could be kind of doing this balancing act between these very contrasting and opposing forces. And that's just something that could be happening naturally in the human heart. Say for Ritsuko and her feelings toward Gendo. I don't think Ritsuko gets out of what she's done, though, in this episode unscathed. Like, I don't think her relationship
I have
with Gendo...
no fucking clue what the fuck's gonna happen next up. I don't see her
standing beside him or even beside Misato anymore in the future as we launch Evas against Angels.
But at the same time, what the fuck else is there?
Or how much launching is there to even be done?
We literally have the Sea Scrolls as per Seal. Like, there's one more left. It's GG, like, it's
one
about to happen.
Left and Ritsuko isn't gonna be there.
That's why Seal comes off is so not, like, slightly not human in a way. Like, it's
I kind of love it, because it almost makes me think of what some people's perspective of what God actually does is. Some people think of God as being completely hands off. Some people think of God as reaching down, like a prophet. Kind of. Ooh, yeah.
Like seeing that what is written is going to come to pass, you know?
Yeah, we're just waiting there in our little, like, we're not even presenting ourselves as, well, what is that transition? Why do we have a transition from seeing the council and the individuals in their human forms that they literally exist in because they're humans, all within chairs? Like, yes, we have the colors and we have them separated and it feels very intense when we initially get them. But they're still humans in their chairs speaking to one another. Then we get a transition of them just being these floating blocks in the sky with numbers attached to them.
The promised time is near.
There is like a pulling them away from their humanity for this reason of getting closer to what is a promised day.
Our journey's been long and the sacrifices have been great. Indeed, first, the Lance of Longness. And now at the loss of Unit 00, we have more than enough reasons to relieve Ikari of his command. So, yeah, we get the idea of relieving him, replacing him, trying to find somebody else who knows just as much.
Yeah,
but,
which
like,
sounds hard.
Trying to look at, like, okay, we're going about things in terms of the scrolls. We need to defeat this many angels before the last one shows up.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's so, like, we're so specific about the details, like how upset we are at losing the spear in orbit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, regardless of if 99% of things end in the way that they want them to, they're still going to be pissed that it wasn't 100% in terms of what the prediction would be, what the scrolls have been saying.
When we have Shinji's Eva kind of go berserk and break out of itself and act in a way that we had never truly seen, and all of the characters get to see this, one of the lines that comes at the end of the episode from Gendo is the idea of this going against Seal's script, and how that might be a good thing, that for them to get accustomed or used to things that they're unprepared for. And like you're saying, what resentment or animosity might they have towards success if success didn't come at falling completely into place as they had been told it would? If something is different than they expected, will they truly be able to enjoy what is a promised day?
She has rendered distinguishing service to the Eva series in reference to Ritsuko. She can be of some use right now, indeed, for the sake of mankind's future. 8 Evangelions are already being prepared, which leaves 4 more. The annihilation of New Tokyo 3 will be good materials upon which to advance our plans. Hurry their completion. That will be our promised day. Like, it's like their own script, right? Their own scrolls. It's just so fascinating to see, like, how they choose to go about interacting with humans and humanity, even though that's what they are, but they have the goal for the longevity of it without considering what the humans who have the choices to make and the things to decide whether it's going to deviate from your plan or not, or like their comfortability in talking around those people would be, you know?
Talking about sacrifices. They definitely have done a good job at both visually and the way that they speak, making themselves completely separate between the common folk, the people working at Nerve, the pilots, even Gendo to them. They hold the seats.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna hold the seats at the table, like almost like the rapture or something. Like, they're gonna be raptured and it doesn't matter if anyone else is.
Or no, they know that the rapture's coming and there is going to be a fight between Satan and Jesus, and there's going to be an aftermath, and that there will be another world at the end of it, and the world will be rebuilt. But they're openly telling the people who aren't going to be raptured and are going to die in that future that that's going to happen, and that's all part of the plan. And it's okay, because we're still building that like future like foundation for humanity to strive and succeed.
I don't know. I feel very conflicted and very confused.
Me too.
I feel, but there are some things I feel like that are still left to be talked about that I don't think are as confusing as trying to diagnose Seal and their feelings and the scrolls and what it says is to come and Ritsuko and Rei. I think there are some other things that maybe aren't as complicated as what we've tried really hard to understand or open up so far in the discussion.
Genuine, like, my poor Asuka.
Asuka was one of the topics.
You didn't send him for me.
Yes.
I'm
right.
I'm paraphrasing, I think, but that fucked me up. Quite a bit.
Once you brought up in the discussion that Rei saved Shinji, all I could think about when you said that was that line from Asuka about how Shinji is sent out and the yellow tape, if you will, is taken off of his Eva, that he's able to then go in and save Rei, but what you didn't send him in to save Asuka. That sucks for Asuka. That's not going to be helpful at all for Asuka. That is not going to be helpful at all for Asuka. And in terms of talking about Asuka, I also would really like to talk about Hikari.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for her, honestly, because she's trying to be a good friend, but who is really equipped to deal with all of this really serious stuff? like adult or child alike, who is truly 100% without fail equipped to be a support for someone else when they're going through something that you might not even be able to understand. Like, who's really prepared for that? Who's really able to be flawless in their execution of support here? And as we get her just laying in her bed, staring at the ceiling, and I feel for her, and I wonder what's going on in her mind, and I can begin to maybe come up with some ideas of what is going through her mind. Is it, I don't know what are the right words to say here, or wow, these are some serious things that I never really had to consult or even begin to think about myself, and I don't even know what to do.
Hikari doesn't even know, like, everything that's fucking happened. If she did, it would be even more impossible for her to try to figure it out. Hikari can't single-handedly solve generational trauma. Like, the idea of, not just fucking Asuka, like, every fucking person that we have seen in the show. I don't know who the fuck Gendo's parents were, but I don't know if I want to find the fuck out. But, like, Asuka and seeing the reality that we did with her mother and the doll, like, that's shit. How would you ever even try to communicate that? And then knowing Asuka feels how violated she does, like, Hikari's she's trying to help, but, like, what can you do?
What's unfortunate is that this could be detrimental for her as a person too. And I say that's unfortunate because you don't want your trauma to end up hurting someone else that you care about and love. And obviously, I think Hikari's going to be fine. Hopefully, she has a lot of support on her own and she doesn't suffer from the loneliness and she's close with her family. And maybe Asuka is also able to be cared about a little bit by her family as well. I mean, they're letting her stay there. But I can't even begin to think about how that would feel to have that repetition of the person next to me is crying in my bed at night. Like, not only are they kind of ignoring me up until bedtime, or they're not talking to me about their feelings and I'm here, and they're not coming to school and I'm worried about them, the repetition of someone having to day in and day out kind of take in someone else's feelings and emotions in such a heavy presence in such a small quarters like a bedroom, that you are spending your day probably worried about them. You're going to bed and you're hearing them cry. I have to think of an impact that would have on Hikari. And sometimes stuff like that can kind of not spread necessarily, but you dealing with your own sadness, your own feelings, your own mental health, your own trauma, there can be impacts on other people by the kind of accountability you take and the responsibility you take for your own feelings, but also like just the repetition of them being around something like that, especially if they are not kind of equipped themselves or used to something like that, or if they're very empathetic and they really feel for you. I worry about Hikari because she not only had to deal with the guy she had a crush on could have died and is now in the hospital, and kind of what she should have been worried about at this time in her life is the boy I like gonna eat the lunch I make him? Like, that's what a kid should be worried about. It takes me to, I think it might have been last episode, that Hikari and Ida are in the classroom together and they're like, school is what we should be worrying about. And that's exactly kind of the point here, is what she should be equipped to deal with and or should be coming across is the normal kind of hardships of being a young person in school. Oh, that test was hard. Does my crush like me back? And the heaviness that is her hearing about her friend's trauma and trying to be a support there. Like, I know what it's like to be friends with someone or be around someone who is really going through something that's extremely tough. And if you love someone, you care about someone, or you're empathetic, it can be hard to shake that yourself. It can be hard not to kind of dwell in that with them or be so worried about them that it kind of engrosses your entire life. So I do worry about her. I don't think I need to extend my worry too far past just what I've already said and saying that I'm worried about her, but I can't kind of get out of my head her staring at the ceiling there.
My, I guess, last thing is just Misato trying to reach out to Shinji in the way that she did, and then that not being reciprocated, and then her reaching out to Pen Pen, and then her coming to the realization that she's the one who's lonely.
Mm-hmm. She's the one that's lonely.
Yep.
I think my last thing is I actually want to go back and reread one thing.
Okay.
It's a scene between Fuyutsuki and Gendo.
Mm-hmm.
She is the product of my despair, and at the same time, the vessel of your hope even now. So why I wanted to bring this line back up is it definitely gives me like Fuyutsuki had much more orchestration in the creation of Rei and the idea of Yui being a part of Rei than I had previously thought. Maybe Gendo was more of the kind of push for this.
I'm sure he was, but in terms of like how much he knew, you mean Fuyutsuki, or how much he was involved?
How much he was the involvement, I guess, in that initial, and how he's approaching it and the creation of Rei. It's like he wanted this to happen, or not that he wanted this to happen. I guess I'm not even ready to unpack that yet, but I do appreciate the line in terms of trying to start to understand Rei's creation of why we created Rei, coming from these two different perspectives.
I mean,
product of despair, vessel of hope.
If you've gone too far as humanity or humankind by interfering with creation and reviving God in the way that you are, is the creation of Rei another example of being too far gone from and losing your humanity in one aspect, versus the other side of, no, this is just the beginning, this is the creation we need so that we can continue on living and we can save our world, you know?
It's all just a blur. Everything that we're getting introduced to, from human action to human creation to Evas to angels to God, it's all just a spectrum of like blending all together. Like humans trying to take God as their own or do things that people normally attribute to God, and then angels are coming in and they're psychologically attacking the humans, physically attacking, morphing into becoming one. The Evas are a mix of DNA. Everything is just like kind of amalgamating together.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it's awesome to watch. It's uncomfortable, but it's awesome to watch.
It's so fascinating because I'm like, damn, I love this show so much and I can't wait to rewatch the show. But I'm wondering if, like, is it the best idea to, after I finish Evangelion, to go right into it to rewatch it again? Or am I going to need a break? Am I going to need like a, holy shit, what the fuck? I need to think about if I can, I need to understand my own humanity so that I can go back into it and try to look at more of what they're trying to say.
I often feel like, at least on my own, before we started the channel, when I would rewatch things that were really pivotal or important to me in terms of anime, like when I rewatched Fruits Basket, for example, that having a nice chunk of time between the first watch to that second watch, I think it really, having that break of time helps you appreciate it that much more, and really just almost you get to immerse again in some form or way, not to the same extent you originally could, but it also comes with, I feel like, being able to understand things so much more, which is beautiful, and I feel like I would need it. It feels necessary for me to rewatch the show just so I can make sure and lock in. Like, I'm like on a game show right now, and they're like, lock in your answer of everything, all the answers to the show, and I'm like, I don't have an answer I can lock in that's going to be on the board, Steve Harvey. I'm sorry.
I can just imagine like months and months and months from now, or like a year from now, we're sitting in our office like doing separate things, and I'm rewatching Neon Genesis Evangelion, and like I'm sitting there just like staring at my monitor, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, Anna, come here. We didn't think about it that way. Like, read the line that way.
I without a doubt 100% believe that would happen.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else?
No, a part of me feels kind of bad for focusing so much on Hikari. Like, I felt like I spent a lot of time on her, where a lot of our main characters deserve equal, if not more, attention in terms of their emotional state and being worried about them. It just kind of felt right to bring up a character that I've never really thought about them and how the story might impact them, where I've already thought about how things might impact Asuka or things might impact Shinji, or even Toji now because of Toji's involvement.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never really thought about this other character, this other school friend, and how things might impact her. I apologize if I took up like too much time with it, but
you're good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. We hope to see you next time. And if you're still listening, I love you, I appreciate you, and hope you have a good day. Bye.